Hi guys, we're just going to start with a quick ad and then we'll get it started.
Cooper then.
Yeah, I'll do it, work.
Yes. Wait, can you use the keyboard over here then?
Just move your chair up. Hi guys, this is Liam Andrews, President of Futsal Great Britain Association. Welcome to my stream, and my guest today is my lad, Darius Andrews.
Hello.
Darius is one of the C13 World Cup boys. He's going to be here reading some of your comments, telling me about some of the things that you're saying in the comments. If you've got any questions for him, please leave a comment down below, and me and Darius will answer any of the questions. Now, today's stream is going to be about how to make a training session on Tactical Pad and how to do some tactics on Tactical Pad. Now, if you're a coach that is using Tactical Pad for the first time, or if you're using Tactical Pad just to gain a bit of experience or even engage some of my knowledge, please leave a comment below. Let's start talking and start sharing some of the Tactical Pad and futsal knowledge. Okay, so we will just start with some of your comments. Carl BTech Darius, he's actually BTech Darius because everyone always calls him Darius. His name's actually Darius, but he is a BTech Darius because everyone calls him Darius, so he's not quite good enough to be a Darius. He's unfortunately a Darius. So yes, welcome BTech Darius, or Darius shall I say. Thank you Cooper for commenting and coming in. Thank you Harvey for commenting. So let's get it started. So Tactical Pad. We're gonna start with a little bit of a recap. We're just gonna change a few things here. So the white is the writing in the middle, so I'm gonna change that to, we'll keep that as white actually, and then on here we'll go red, and on the outside we'll go blue for GB. I'm just gonna change the design really quickly. So let's go with no numbers. Let's not make it too flashy. Change the style a little bit just to give you know, similar to the kit that we're going to be wearing in the World Cup. So let's go with that. So I'm not going to do any names. I'm not going to do any names with the players that are playing for now. So we'll just keep it as player 1, player 2. So we're going to do a really basic training session to start with. This session is working on your 2v1 situations. I did do this in the GB trials before, and it's a really good way of it's a friendly way of punishing mistakes, but also not making it all about win at all cost stuff. So I'm just going to go into tools, get a ball. Any recommendations, white, blue or red, just leave it in the comments. Whoever comments first, I'm going to pick that. That's going to be the ball that I'm going to use.
Can we read some more messages?
Yeah, let's have a look at some of your comments. Red, we'll go with red.
So we got lol, Darius, Big D, hype in the chat.
You double click that because you want to make the ball a little bit bigger. Actually make it a little bit smaller than that. Don't want it to overpower the actual game itself. Okay, okay, everyone likes the red. Sweet. Actually looks quite cool. So let's do a quick training session. So we're going to need some equipment, just so it can look a little bit more flashy, I guess. Get some cones so the players know where to stand behind. We won't do any cones in here. So basically the objective of this game is this player can run, we'll do it with some lines, he can run into a 1v1 and just score straight away, or the player can pass it out to here and then do 1v1. Now the game is this. The player on the ball has got to try, well, sorry, the two players have got to try and score, and the defender has got to try and shut the ball down and win the ball. If the defender wins the ball, he doesn't defend next time, and whoever's fault it is that they don't score, they're in goal. So let's say this person shoots from distance and the goalkeeper saves it, then it will be player two's fault why it didn't go in. So player 2 will become the defender, player 12 will go to the back of the queue. Okay, so it's a nice fun session just to kind of get a lot of the people warmed up. I normally use this as a quick warm-up routine rather than a full-on session, so that's another reason why I would have used it as a trial session, because the trials are quite relaxed up to most sessions. Okay, so does anyone have any questions for Darius? Whilst I'm just gonna go through some of these animations, does anyone have any questions for Darius at all? He's feeling a little bit bored and a little bit unwanted at the moment. So if any of you've got any questions for Darius, pop them in the comments below, and he's more than happy to answer your questions. So this player is gonna decide to dribble it first. We're like confident players, and the defender's gonna try and shut him down. I'm gonna try and do quite a few slides just so we can make the actual animation itself a little bit more exciting. We'll pull him out wide. Right, so we'll always talk, when we're doing these sessions, we'll always talk about width and depth. It's so important that the more player 4 is dragging that 12 out of the pitch, that number 12 is thinking, okay, well, do I shut the ball down or do I sit 50-50 in between? The goalkeeper could play a part here. I do bring my keepers in a lot in these situations. So if you want me to do it the other way, if I was defending this drill, just leave a comment below and I will also redo this as if I was defending this drill. So anyway, so we've got our width. Now it's been passed across, so we're going to go to the next frame. Now that player 12 has got to start thinking now, I need to get to the ball. Player 2, I would hope, would be trying to get to this post now to put a lot of pressure on that player 12. Now it's so important that player 4 is really confident with the ball in these 1v1 situations. So player 4 is dribbled the ball a little bit. Now I want him to really test player number 12. So he's going to really charge towards that post. Player 12 is going to try and shut down the angle. Now what I'm going to be looking for player number 4 to do in this drill here when I'm talking, when I'm coaching, is player 4, can you try and shoot in that front post? Can you pass it to player number 2, or can you cut inside to the edge of the box? Okay. Normally when I'm playing with 3 attackers, we always have 1 on each post and 1 at the edge of the area. So in this area, in this drill now, player 4 is trying to go to is trying to shoot. This keeper, I want just for the start, is going to block the first post. Going on to the next frame. Now, because the keeper's there, I'd be saying to the player now to try and play it into there. Okay. A nice little tap in, and we've scored. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get him to pass it back for the next frame. Now obviously he wouldn't do this in a real game. But the other option, as we said before, is can he now cut inside with the ball? And with that cut, he's now got the option of the shot, or he has got the option still to pass it to that back post. But just for this video, I'm going to say he's going to cut inside and shoot. And we're going to go like that. So this is what the drill looks like to start with. We're just going to go for a quick animation in 2D and at pace number 2, which is a pace that I quite like. So let's see what this looks like. It's a nice easy drill. It gets you thinking about, you know, it gets you thinking loads about if you're attacking, how do I come up with loads of different routines, loads of different methods of scoring instead of doing the same thing. Everyone gets to defend, everyone gets to attack. So I'm just deleting these animations whilst I'm talking to you really quickly, because now I want to show you what it looks like when they have missed. So player number 2 runs with the ball, goes out wide. Player number 4 hasn't listened to our methods about width and depth. Player 2 is one directional, he's just running with the ball forward all the time. Player 12 is cramping him into that space there. Player 4 is still killing the space, and eventually player number 12 takes that ball. Now he's got the ball. Player number 2 is going to be the new defender because it was his fault why they didn't score. Player number 4 goes to the back of the queue, and then player number 2 will be going to number 12, and the ball will be with the keeper. Keeper always starts with this drill. Okay, so the keeper's now got the ball. He's now going to throw it straight out to player number 5 or player number 3. That's entirely your choice. And then player 2 is going to try and shut down that space. And as we said before, it's really important to get the width and the depth when we're playing. Player number 5 is going to try and twist, and he's going to try and turn, playing loads of different directions. This time we're going to try and see if we can try and cut inside, see if we can play loads of different ways. So player 3 is now going to bomb on towards the post. Now I'm thinking player number 5 is going to be a really quick player here, so he's going to quickly blitz him down the wing. He's taken him on a couple of diags. Now he's taking him on, and now he's gonna take him on. So pass it straight away into here, and ready to shoot at the back post. So that's that. We'll have another quick look at the animation in 2D, and then I'm going to flip it to 3D so you can see how cool it looks in 3D. Just going to read your comments while this is going on as well.
Got a first question.
In the World Cup, what are we going to do for the warm-up? Cooper Knox. Wow. Okay. In regards to the actual warm-up, Cooper, that's a really, really good question. You can tell you're the captain. In regards to the warm-up, it can change on a few different things. So obviously, what I would plan to do on my warm-up for the first game, and what I would do for maybe the last game of the tournament, would be potentially different, because it would depend on what players are playing, it would depend on the fitness of the players at that current time. You know, are you a bit tight from the last game? Did you have to play a couple of hours before? Did you play only the day before? Have you had 3 days rest? And also, what are we working on at that present moment? Is there something that's weak about our game? Is there something that we're good at? Is there something that we just need to build on just that little bit more? If we can have that, we can have a fun drill to work on that. So for example, if I don't feel like players are using the sole of their foot a lot, could we do a rondo? Practice rondos, short areas, using the sole, rolling it, taking your touch into space, a bit of ball mastery. So I know that's very broad and it's not answering your question, but to be honest with you, the 2v1 stuff that I've just showed you here would be a good warm-up that I would potentially like to do in the World Cup. It is something that it gets you to shoot, it gets you to pass, it gets you to tackle, it gets the keeper to change. We can also, in the next training camp that we have with you guys, we'll be talking about how that defender might rotate with the goalkeeper as well. So there's ways of me manipulating this training session to tactical decisions as well. But I do love doing rondo training. But like I said, depending on how we progress on the camps and what we're good at and what we need to work on a little bit, will be depending on how we go from you know, what warm-up we decide at the time. But thank you very much for your question. Okay, so any other questions? Is the quality good? It's okay. Thanks, Harvey. Okay, so let's show you the animation in 3D.
I've got your phone.
Are we going to be one team or two big teams? You're going to be one team.
Okay.
Putting it as simply as I can, it is one team. You went in 2 teams last time just because at this moment in time it is about getting you all game time. It's about learning the plan that we want. I'm going to speed this up as well, by the way, just so you can see it a bit faster. So yeah, hang on, we'll start from the beginning. So yeah, Harvey, so it's about getting the game time at the moment and understanding the philosophy, because at any given point I might need you to play in the game. So it's about learning your trade at the moment. When we get to the World Cup, it'll be a little bit more ruthless, you know, form, attributes of, you know, what we might be needing against a certain opposition. If you're playing Brazil or you're playing India, I'm assuming there'll be different styles, different teams. So that's why I'm so excited about our team, actually, because we've got so many different types of players. I can play around with those players to manipulate in any way that I want on the pitch. So one team, but a lot of players to choose from. But that's a good thing in the World Cup. Weather will be hot in Spain, in Barcelona, and some people will be playing international futsal for the first time. So it's always good to have loads of different subs. Okay, so this is just a basic training drill that I've said as a warm-up. Does anyone have any recommendations of what style of session they'd like to see next? Is that a passing drill, like a rondo drill type of thing, another shooting drill, defending drill, counter-attacking drill? Is there anything that anyone would like me to make as it is in the next? So, Carnworth, are the games going to be live streamed at the World Cup? Adam, great question. Are they going to be live streamed? At this moment in time, they are planned to be live streamed, and it's going to be on this channel. So if you know friends that want to be getting used to our Twitch channel, get them involved in our Twitch channel, because we are planning to get it live on this Twitch channel. Is there more than one tactics for attack? Yes, there is. Do I want to go in all the tactics of the GBC13 teams before the World Cup starts? No, because you never know who's watching. Okay, so I will go through tactics, but they might not be necessarily my philosophy. There might be philosophies from other people. They might be my own. But what I'm not going to do is to tell people what my tactics are before a tournament, because that wouldn't be smart. Yeah, good advice, Cooper. 6 players in a tournament would be absolutely that would be really, really tough. Thank you very much to all the viewers who are tuned in at the moment. Please start commenting about what you would like to see. What training session would you like me to do next? Is it shooting? Is it defending? What would you like to see next? Leave the comments below and I will help with the next session that you want to see. As I said before, you want to get rid of training equipment, just throw it off the screen and you won't see it again. Defending. Okay. Defending. Dries, you didn't actually go to Italy with 12, you went with 18.
18, still tiring.
But it was tiring, yeah, I agree. Okay, defending. Okay, let's do a defending drill. Let's go on to the equipment, shall we? Do we want to use any equipment for defending? Do I want any equipment for defending? I'll tell you what. Why is it doing that? I don't understand why it's doing that. Get rid of all these a second, all these animations, because we'll go back to the next training drill. We'll work on a defending one. I don't know why you want a defending one, Harvey. You're pretty good at defending when you want to be. Our actual next training camp is defending, so the stuff that you do miss. No, I think you are there in the next one, aren't you, Harvey? In the next training camp. But anyone who's not, then we will do a video on maybe some of the stuff that we're doing, but I might make that a private one rather than to everyone else. No offense to anyone else, but obviously I don't want to reveal all the tactics before the World Cup. Okay, so do attacking and defending. Okay, yeah, okay, that's a really good one. I've seen this session quite a few times actually. attacking into defending. Obviously, futsal is predominantly a game for oh god, I'm getting my words mixed up now. Futsal is a transitional game. It is always one person attack, the next person attacks, then the next one attacks. So what we'll do is actually, I'll tell you what, I'll get rid of player 7, player 2 and player 3, and then I'll just put the other team in. I'll put the goalkeeper for the other team as same as the GB keeper. Okay, so this is a transitional game, attack into defense. It is called. There's loads of different ways that you can play this game, but I'm going to show you 1v1 continuous to start with. So if you have a player on the halfway line, this can also make this session a little bit easier. So you have a ball here. I need to get another ball for this one. We'll go with a blue ball as well. We'll mix it up a little bit, get everyone excited. So, players here. Let me go to the animation. Plays into number 1. Number 1 has a 1v1 in either goal. You can score in any goal in this drill. So this guy is gonna run here. Now in a 1v1, I will say to the keeper, in regards to the strikers, always watch the keeper's positioning. If he's coming right out, chip him or run around him. If the keeper is slightly at one post, kick it towards one post. If he's at the other, hit it in the other. But particularly in futsal, if he's down the middle, toe punt it right in the corners. If you toe punt it right in the corners, keeper isn't getting there. So in regards to here, we're going to assume that the striker has listened to my advice. He has toe punted it straight into the goal. He's absolutely buzzing. Now obviously he's just attacked. Alright, I don't want to patronise you and be, playing the obvious game. But what we're going to do, player 4 is going to play it straight into player 5. And player 5 is going to, because the Reds chose to score in this goal, the Blues have now got to score in this goal. It's a bit like when you play pool. You don't know what if you're going to be spots or stripes to start with, and after the first ball's potted in, then you know what goal. Or you could do it where you can score in any goal. Now, I'm a big fan of either or, to be honest, because for me, if you play in both goals, it makes you a multi-directional player or a multi-directional team as it builds up. But also, if I don't mind going one way or the other, because you can actually, you get different outcomes. If you're going one directional, as in scoring in one goal, then that's fine. If you've got both goals, then there's a different outcome there. So I'm absolutely okay with that. Okay, so player 4 has played straight into number 5. Now, number 5 is obviously going to try and bomb on as quickly as he can to get away from number 1. Now, number 1 has got to recover really, really quick. Now, anyone who has played this game before is going to realise really quickly this game is an absolute thriller to watch from the sideline, but tough to play as the people that start. So what you tend to do is you tend to put your players that lack the fitness at the back of the queue, so they don't have to do as much running. They can enter the game towards the end. Okay, so we're going to assume the keeper's slightly out of position. Player 5 has shot it in the front post. Great finish. You will have multiple balls here, so we'll just pretend that the ball was there. Number 2 was on his game, and he was stood there waiting. Okay, that ball is going to come into here. We are going to assume that all this happened. So 5 has just scored for the Blues. And now 4 is going to play it into number 2. And now we found ourselves into a 2 versus 1 situation. Now, obviously 1 normally would probably go there. If he did that in a real game, I would not be very happy. I still want the width as much as possible. Player player 5 is obviously going to try and recover, and he's going to be stuck in the middle. If number 1 is just making a straight line down the middle, the angles of the blue defender and then the attacking number 1, the angles are in the blue's favour. So we need to make it as hard as we can for him, and by stretching the pitch, you're creating that 1v1 opportunity for number 2. But if he does struggle, then there's also that option of the backup option of being able to switch the play as well. Kane, thank you very much for commenting, mate. Dryce is next to me. If you've got a question for him, please leave a comment below. But thanks for entering the chat, Kane.
Harvey.
Um, okay, so number 2 is bombing on. Oh, sorry. Schoolboy error there. Always make sure you click the next frame before you go to the next bit. Okay, he's bombing on. Number 5's come in again. He's still struggling, but he's working his socks off. Number 1 is keeping the width, but slowly making his way to the post. And I think one more little stride from R2, and he might just be ready to get his assist. And here we go, straight across. There's so many different scenarios that come out of this 1v1 continuous. It's brilliant. That's the reason I love this game so much. So, as we just said before, because they just scored, that now means Blues have got to play the other end now. So, by the way as well, when you are changing frames, sometimes you have to press quite hard, because if you don't press it hard enough, you think it's gone to the next frame, but it hasn't. So always check the numbers of the frames that you are in. So anyway, player 12 is now playing it into player number 4, and now we find ourselves in a 2 versus 2 situation. So player number 5 is going to get out wide and get that depth. Number 1 is going to try and recover. Number 2 is going to try and recover. And number 4 is going to try and bomb on as much as we can. They're trying to work their hardest. Number 5 is trying to keep the width, but slowly making his way to the post. Just moving him over slowly for the animation. And I think we might just be ready for our next assist. Ooh. Boom! Golazo! This is the geeky side of my tactics coming out. Absolutely love it. But look what's happened. Blues have overcommitted. 3 red players down. And there is no one to pass to for the Reds. So the 4 is going to Theo Walcott it. Hector Bellerin it. Aubameyang it. Down the wing as quick as he can. Number 2 is going to bomb on. Remember we said this was a transitional game. They are bombing on really quickly. Number 4, again, is going the whole way. Now, what's really clear here, and I'd be saying to my team, 4 and 2 need to attack exactly how they did last time of bombing on the pitch, but you need to have some sort of defensive cover from number 2. Not too defensive, because player 5 and player 4 still have a lot to do in order to try and recover, okay? But remember what we said before, and I'm going to edit. What we want is to try and create that front post shot if the keeper is not at that post. Now, if that keeper now tries to go to that post there, he can't shoot in the front post. What we want to try and do, front post shot, back post sweaty. Any FIFA players out there, you know how keepers absolutely hate the sweaty goals. And then you've got your backup for the edge of the area shot, okay? Okay, are we going to use this before games or training sessions? Yes, definitely. When you've started to learn the tactics of what we're going to do for the World Cup, we'll always try and play around with it, because sometimes getting the basics right is absolutely key, okay? The composure sometimes can be the difference from winning the World Cup and not. So going over every scenario and getting people to understand those scenarios is really, really important. So this is a great way of really deconstructing every aspect of of some of the basics you know, the front post shot, the back, the sweaty, the edge of the box. This is how we would attack with our 3, and then we'd have our backwards option here, just keeping us from cover, really. The Blues don't have that luxury yet to have someone to cover. However, what I'm going to show you now is how this guy here is going to recover quicker than if we didn't have someone sitting back. So this number 2 is really important because he gives you the 3rd option in order to shoot, but also he'll be able to recover quicker as well. So we are going to go for a sweaty goal as well. Just get all the FIFA hyped players absolutely loving life. Guys, if you've been sweaty in the last couple of days, leave a comment below. What did the opposition do to you? What did the opposition do on FIFA against you to get a sweaty option against you? How did they get in the position in the first place in order to get into that sweaty option? Because sometimes when I've seen FIFA players in the past, they get so frustrated, going, "Oh my god, you're such a sweat on the game. You're just sweaty all the time." But actually, sometimes to get into those sweaty those opportunities is actually where the masterclass comes in. So I don't tend to hate on people who sweaty against me. So it is what it is. Liam, when will you next be live? That was from Kane Sutton. Kane, I will be live at 7:30 on Tuesdays. So what we're trying to do is a 7:30 live stream on a Tuesday, and then a later one at 4 o'clock, just to kind of time it in with people with school and work and things like that. And then the next one after that would be a Thursday, 7:30 and 4. Friday will be 7:30, maybe not an evening one on the Friday, just a morning one. And then Saturday and Sunday will probably be again 7:30, and then a 4 o'clock one again. So yeah, keep watching the channel for any updates when we're going live. All of our social medias as well, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We will always be having regular content going out now on our YouTube and our Twitch. So keep watching the videos and keep up to date with our social media, because we'll always keep you updated, especially a day before when we're going to go live, and a couple of hours before, and an hour before, and just before we go live. We always post on our social media, so keep up to date with that as well. If you want to know about our Twitch stuff, of when we are going to go live and things like that, if you go onto our profile when this video finishes, we have loads of stuff on our panel stuff about Tactical Pad, how you purchase it, and go on the website, just click the Tactical Pad panel. Yeah, sorry, 7:30 in the morning. Yes, Cooper, thanks for that. 7:30 in the middle, 7:30 in the morning just before school, and 4 o'clock when you've just finished school. Yeah, so you can go on our panels where you can learn about Tactical Pad. You can click on the website and purchase it if you would like to. You can also learn about AMF Futsal. You can learn about us as an association, FGBA, and there's loads of other things that you can check on our panels. So go in the panels on our account and read up on some of the stuff that we've got. We also have timers as well of when our next streams are going to be. So again, go in the panels, scroll straight to the bottom, and it will have a countdown clock of when we will be live next. So thanks for that question, Kane. Okay, back onto here. So we've attacked with our 3. We've just scored, and that means the ball is now going to be taken for the Blues. They're going to bomb on, obviously. They want to attack. Now this too is really important because he's not so far back now, so he can try and delay as much as he can to reorganize his 3 defenders. Obviously, we wouldn't want a flat defense because it would go flick straight over, but obviously this is just a medium run until they can get in their final position. But 2's job is just to try and delay that attack as much as he can. But 4 obviously will be bombing on further than that, and so will 5. But this is just delay the ball as much as he can, trying to show him out wide away from the middle players, because if he switches it, we are in serious trouble. Okay, so what we will do now is is the next part of it, he will obviously try and show him out as much play. This number 4 is obviously going to also try and get in the channels. So number 1, we're going to try and stop that as much as we can. Just coming across. 4 might make a run in there, or he might even become the pivot. But we'll say, let's say he makes a run there, okay? And then what we're going to try and do as much as possible is get 4 goal side as player number 5. We'll say we play a little bit defensive this time. 4 is trying to go goal side, okay? So if the ball does get switched, 4 will come across, 1 will come across, and 2 will come across. But what we're trying to do is create a slight triangle shape, because if it does go out wide here, number 1 can try and cut across and intercept. 2 can try and intercept, but as much as we want, we do not want them to dominate this area here, okay? So, you're on your summer break already?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Said Adam Conrath. So you're on your 6 weeks holiday already? Can you just comment, just clarify that? You're on your 6 weeks holiday already?
We've got another week, 2 weeks.
If that's true, that's mad. In England, we still got another 2 weeks. Wow. I can't believe that. Anyway, going on to the next bit. So, the player is got to make a decision. Now, I'm going to actually go a little bit more positive. And I'm going to say player number 12 is going to cut inside. Now, this is a completely different change now, because we're going to have to completely change our shape. So, Cooper, is that you are on your 6 weeks holiday already?
What?
You finished last Friday. That is mad. Okay, so 4, he can't go out too far, but 1 is just going to sit in there, and 2 is going to sit slightly deeper, just in case if that ball goes over the top. But to be honest with you, in a normal game, I'd be having my backwards option here, and the keeper getting ready as well. But just for this video's sake, we're going to try and keep it composed. Remember, you always try and keep the pitch compact, and you always try, when you've got the ball, to try and make the pitch big. Bowie the God, thank you for commenting, buddy.
You're going on holiday next week. Tomorrow.
Madness. So Cooper, you have finished for the 6 weeks. Oh, that is mad. I can't believe that.
You're going on holiday tomorrow.
How long do you get for your 6 weeks? How long do you get for your 6 weeks holiday? Is it 6 weeks or is it 8 weeks? Or because I know in France they get they're on a mad one. They have 2 months off. Yeah. 2-3 months off, whatever it is. Okay, so anyway, back to this video. Player 12. He's going to switch the ball. No, he's not. Sorry, next frame. He's going to switch the ball. He's going to try and cut, make a forward run, see if we can, forward's going to come in. Slightly diagonal. 2 is going to come in. We want to try and block out this area here. We want to try and block out here and go in there. So obviously, as you've noticed, I've probably changed this to be 7 weeks. Wow. So I've always tried to go a little bit attacking to start with. Now I'm getting a bit more defensive, because obviously you said you wanted to see a defensive session. So I've made this like, how would I try and defend this as much as possible? So again, I would probably be encouraging them in the middle now, just because we've now got secure. Okay, there is no one dominating this space. We don't want too many balls in behind, because if he does get a perfect pass there and player number 4 bombs on, it's a sweaty goal and we're in serious trouble. Why is the middleman slightly behind? We don't want any passes down the middle so he can get there. And if it does go out, he can also recover. And it's almost like a revolving door. 4 would then replace 1, and there's a rotation in the defence there as well. You start back on the 15th of August. We don't start back till September, so that's alright. I might even be still in France then. Cooper, thank you very much for coming, dude. I will see you soon. But anyway, here's the training session. So, player number 5 has got the ball. Let's say he goes down the wing. No, sorry. Ignore me. New frame. We're just going to get him to score now, because this is dragging on a little bit. I've tried to make it a little bit, a little bit more in depth for all of you guys. But we're just going to say our defenders switched off for a second, and player 12 is going to get it straight into player 4, and player 4 is going to get a Golazzo! So, should we have a quick look? We'll go speed number 2 because that is my favourite. See what it looks like. Scores. Obviously in this drill, like I said, it is you're constantly swapping over positions, your attack, your defence, and this gives the coach so many opportunities to try and coach certain leaks in your play. So obviously normally, guys, like I said before, you'll have like 20 balls, 10 balls, whatever in each queue to stop the keeper having to keep throwing out all the time, and obviously it makes the game quicker as well. But obviously just for this video I don't want to keep wasting my time, keep making loads of balls. Look, we've created our 3 up front. Good. A little bit more defensive now. Obviously what you will find with this game as well, it does get a lot more tactical and less about 1v1s towards the end, because obviously there's more players on the pitch and it is harder to get past. So there is that goes with the end of the game. So if any coaches watching this, just remember that is something to consider when you are doing 1v1 continuous. It's going to be very counter-attacking in the start. It's going to be very much about 1v1s. It's going to be very tiring for your players that start the game, and then towards the end it will get a bit more tactical. It will become a little bit more about passing. So again, what my recommendation for coaches who would like to try this, for me, if I had a player that was particularly dominant in my team, was very physically fit, and you know, let's say for example you're doing under sevens, you always have quite a few kids that are just head and shoulders above everyone else. I'd probably put them right at the start. Right at the start. Obviously you can play around with it, but this is for my reason of putting it at the start. I put them at the start to try and get them, by the end of it, they might be a little bit more tired. And then fresh legs coming in from players that might not be as fit, may not be as technically or tactically or physically as good. And it gives them a little bit of an advantage. So, but obviously, again, you can start with your slightly weaker players and then bring your better players in towards the end. But for me, I always start with the better players who I think could physically deal with the challenge of going throughout the whole game. So yeah. There is other ways of playing this game as well. Maybe you have 5 balls on each and it's built up to 5v5. Every time the ball gets kicked out, that's your 5 balls, and when the 5 balls are gone, then it's game dead, to try and prevent the fitness side of it. But if you're doing this as a pre-season warm-up game, it will get you fit. Trust me, I've seen this game enough times, and it is physically very demanding. But you get the technical and you get the tactical elements in the game as well. So, should we have a quick look at this in 3D? 3D. Like I said in the last video, imagine, right, turning up to your session, your manager's got this. I would be absolutely buzzing. Okay, frame 1. 1v1. Looks a bit weird at the goalkeeper scoring, but hey ho, we'll forget about that.
So it's a 3D looks lit, you know.
The 3D does look quality, to be fair, doesn't it, Darius?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's better than the 2D.
To be fair though, the only thing with 3D, it is fantastic and it is sick. Like, look at the crowd and everything. But the only thing I want is like watching FIFA 99 all over again. With the graphics, but obviously Tactical Pad can't get everything right. They've got a fantastic software as it is. But obviously, you know, like anything, the graphics will eventually get better in time, but it is fantastic. Okay, so that's the training session finished. We are slightly running out of time, so thank you very much for everyone who's gone through it, you know, who's commented so far, who is still watching. Thank you very much for that. We're just going to go to a quick ad, just because I need to get rid of all this board and everything else. I'm going to go to a quick ad. Stay tuned, stay in the chat, still keep talking with each other, and what we're going to do is I'm going to refresh this page, and then what we're going to do after that is go to a little bit of tactics of, you know, how you could play some of the futsal games that I enjoy doing in a match. So it gives you just a little bit of a thought of how I think in a match situation. But if any of you want to try some tactics out as well, leave some comments below. And after the ad is finished, I'll take on some of your, on board some of your recommendations or your comments as well. So the ad's going to start now, and we will. I'll see you after the break. Okay, so I'm just fixing up my team again to what it was before we go into the tactics side of things. Thank you very much for your patience. Thanks for staying, guys, for anyone that stayed. Right, so we're just gonna... Which one did we have it before? We had it like that, didn't we? Okay, so going to some tactics now. This is where my geeky side comes out, so more than welcome, guys. Fire your questions towards me, because this is something that I absolutely love doing more than anything. So if any of you understand any of the tactics that I am doing, that you know that's mine, or if someone else's, please don't make it obvious if it's mine, because obviously we never know who's watching, and I don't want anyone to know how we're going to play in the Futsal World Cup. But what I will say is, if I have been inspired by any coaches, I will shout out that coach. So one of the coaches that I was lucky enough to do a workshop with was a guy called Marquinhos Xavier. He is the FIFA Brazilian national team coach, and I have read his book as well as being, being at his workshop in London with Helvetia. Big shout out to Helvetia Futsal Club as well. And yeah, with Marquinhos Xavier, it was something that I learned that I thought a few of you might want to see, and it was the interesting tactic of how, in his book, he created an L shape. Okay, so players got the ball, and with the ball here, we are creating an L shape. Okay, now the pivot is nice and high up the pitch. Player is roughly about here instead of just being in the center. Now what's really important is, let's say the player's been switched over here. I always say try and cut away from the ball if you can. There could be a couple of blocks to get in the way. I will bring opposition in this to recap when we do an animation on it. But then this player is to come in here to create a 2v1 situation here, and a 1-2 as well, to creating a triangle, which I'm just going to draw for you just really quickly, just so you can see that. You are trying to create that triangle shape here. It's really, really important, because what we're trying to create is, let me get rid of that. Showing off a little bit now, getting my lines out. So yeah, so we are, this player would tend to bomb on. So I'll tell you what, we'll go through the animation, and I'll bring a couple of players in. Should we just start from the beginning? Get some players on the go. So goalkeeper, there, and there. So we'll start from the beginning. We want to try and create that triangle shape there. It's just something we need to be aware of. You might wonder as well why the right winger is so defensive and this winger is a bit higher up. So because the backwards options come slightly this side, to create that L shape, is pushed on the winger. The pivot wants to get out of the way, and the other winger is coming as support. And obviously we can't go straight in there. A shout out as well, fantastic comment I use, a quote I use all the time from Mark Kimona. Futsal is a game for liars. Never go where you want to go straight away. Go there the second movement that you want to do. Never do what you want to do straight away. Futsal is a game for liars. Mark Kimona, ex-Barcelona coach for futsal. So okay, so let's do a little animation. So he plays. This player is obviously going to come across, right? Plays it in. This player is obviously going to come. Now, what's really important here, and this is predominantly used in basketball, but futsal players have started to use it a lot. He needs to block. He needs to stop this player getting in. Now, normally, this player here will then start taking the ball into space here. Now, this guy needs to cut. So, first of all, he's going to block. He's going to cut block here. Then, pick and roll into here and create space in here. And then the player's going to be there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that and go the other side because obviously our triangle's on the other side. So, he's going to come into here. Oh, sorry. 2 seconds. Not used to doing this and talking at the same time. So he switches out. He's obviously going to come in. He needs to block first. Block. The ball's here, so I want him to go diagonally of the ball. Okay? And the reason I'm going to explain that in a minute. So he's blocked. Player 2 comes in. Player 2 now pick and rolls and cuts. Player 3 now needs to play. Goes to the next frame. Then needs to play within this triangle that we just spoke about in here. Okay, he's trying to create that triangle. Now this player obviously can just run straight down the wing, go in a 1v1, but look what happens when he receives the ball. You can do exactly the same here by doing your triangles this side, but the pivot would then just come out here instead. But just here, a 1-2, player 3 bombs on past this player 3, bang, bang, and he's in. Or he could switch it to the other side if that option isn't on and do exactly the same and the pivot goes the other side. Or he could just turn and run towards goal. But just for argument's sake, we're going to say he is going to play the 1-2. Now it's very obvious who our front 3 is now. So 5 has got to become our backwards option. Okay? This player in the middle is so important because this number 2 doesn't know if he needs to shut down or not. He's got players bombing in behind. 4, should he go? Should he tuck in? 3, should he go? Should he tuck in? 5, you tend to see pivots don't like to defend at all. They really don't, especially the teams that love to attack. So I'm assuming we play against a lot of South American teams, they're not going to want to defend that much, but they probably will, and they'll try and do their very best. But pivots tends not like to defend. But we'll say they've brought him in. He's played in here. Now this is where we need to be really clever. Number 2 needs to get to the edge of the box. Player 3 needs to sorry, hang on. Next frame. Player 3 needs to aim for that front post. Player 2 needs to aim for the edge of the area, and player 4 needs to come to that back post. This is causing havoc for number 3 now and number 4. They're not sure who they've got to mark. Number 2, if he leaves number 2 for the blue, it's a pass back. If he comes it, well, if he stays where he is now, it's a front post shot or back post sweaty. If he comes in, you've got here into there, here into there, and you just got here straight into a shot. So if you start getting into places like this, the Reds are in serious trouble. But let's say they have stayed here. You're in here. Thank you very much for the follow, Kane. I'm pretty sure someone else followed us as well later on in the chat. Thank you, Ernesto70201, for the follow as well.
We'll get some call-ups.
If you want me to call you out as well, please leave a comment below, and I will give you a shout out. So obviously there is a few viewers that I might not see, so if you want to shout out, just leave a comment below. So anyway, player 2 has got the ball. Play it into player 4, and you know the rest. Golazo! Here it is. Right, so shall we see in 2? This is it. Xavier Marquinhos, great, creating those triangles of the middleman, and a great way of creating those triangles all over the pitch. Now, Adam, I like defending and watching the game from the back. I'm not a natural defender in football, but enjoy the challenge at futsal. I'll tell you why you like that, Adam. I can actually tell you why. Actually, the backwards option tends to be the technically very gifted players. Futsal is always... People always say, whilst I'm saying this to you, Adam, I'm just going to go to the 3G so everyone can see the 3D version, shall I say. I'm going to change the camera angle as well so you can see a different, we'll go bird's eye view today. Yeah, so the backwards option is tends to be the most creative player on the pitch. They've got to be technically good. If you lose it, it's a goal. But also, futsal, everyone keeps thinking it's all about technique, it's all about skills and, you know, the Ricardinho skills and everything else. But actually, futsal is a very tactical game. You can watch the game from the back. There's less people to think about, and you can start orchestrating that game. And that's probably why you really like to digest the game, deconstruct all its components, and think, actually, do you know what? The backwards option here is quite exciting. I can observe the game, and then I can go and play. If you agree, leave a comment. If you don't, I'd like to know a little bit more about why you think you like playing a little bit more at the back to start with, and why you wouldn't do so much in football. But that's my take on it from watching you play, and why sometimes I've seen quite a few people do that in the past. Okay, so let's have a look at it in 2D. Now, I want to do this again, but I'm going to do it a bit slower because I want to talk you through this. Because I've watched a lot of futsal in England, and I've seen a few abroad now. And for me, I think the English game, not all teams, there's been some... Like, I seen Helvetia once play Bristol City, and it was... I saw some absolute ballers, like Lucas Totti, a corner from over here. Helvetia flicked it into the halfway line. Lucas Totti smashed it right in the top corner at the bar post and in the top corner. So absolutely brilliant goal, and the technical skills was. But as I was saying, sometimes when I watch English futsal, I don't see enough technical ability to try and take them on. And when I've seen England futsal, it's been quite defensive in a few of the games. They got some absolutely quality players in there, but maybe that's to try and get up the rankings. But I think sometimes a little bit more of the tactics could help with this. So look, so we're getting your little cuts and your blocks in here. You're creating those triangles over the top. I know in football terms, Cruyff was on big on creating those triangles, and that's why he does a lot of rondo training. And this is no different. Let's go even slower. 0.5 will go this time. Because look at the space there is. Now obviously I'm not moving the defence as much. They would probably be a lot closer together in this scenario, but I've seen this work enough times now where I've tried it in training to see if it works. I've tried it in games to see if it works. Something that I will say that's really important when you are working on some complex tactics like this, that I did also pick up from Marquinhos, was movement mechanics. Work on these set moves without the ball. Get some of the very basics in there before you start going here, because I haven't done it in this video. If you want me to deconstruct the Xavier Marquinhos tactic of the L shape a little bit more, I'm happy to dive into that a little bit more. but you know, there's loads of things like how would you circle your run, your shows and goes in order to get this. You know, the calls that you would make. There's loads of movement mechanics of what you would incorporate in your game that I haven't picked up on this video just because I don't want to go too far over. But anyway, Adam, I like playing in position in futsal, but love the back when I can still score goals. Exactly, mate. And to be honest, you've just seen then we're doing rotations in the game. There's always rotations in the game. And I always want you guys to be as creative as you can. Okay, so that is it from me today. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watched. Can we also say a big thank you for Darius? He hasn't really said a lot today, but he has been looking at the comments for me. He also got quite a few people onto the chat today, so big thank you for Darius. Obviously Darius is very excited to be part of the C13 World Cup team, and speaking to some of his teammates on here as well. Thank you very much for that, guys. And remember, when this has finished, please like, share the video to all your friends. This will be going on to YouTube, so it's a lot easier for people to view if they're not on Twitch. So please make sure that you are sharing this video when I have uploaded it to YouTube. And a big thank you for everyone who's came today, and hopefully I will see you in our next stream, which will be on Tuesday at 7:30 AM, just before school. Thank you very much for coming. And just before I go, Cooper, yes, we will have tracksuits. Yes, you will. But like I said before, in the comments below, let us know the next things that you want to see in the video. But our next live stream will be Tuesday, 7:30 AM. I can't wait to see you guys again, and make sure you do come and see us again. And I'm out.